Welcome back to Stat 7 Sports. I'm the Contained Kunas, and it's been nearly 2 months, but I'm finally putting out a video for us. And with this being the LSU Mississippi State preview, as finally 4 weeks late, basically after college football has started, SEC has come back, and we're finally getting the national champs to start and try and repeat for the season. Now they have to replace 17 starters between the offense and defense. Only 2 returning starters on offense, 3 on defense. Only Austin Deculus and Terrace Marshall being the 2 returning on offense. Then you got Stingley, you got Jacoby Stevens, and you got Damone Clark as the starters on defense. So they get their first matchup with Myles Brennan replacing Joe Burrow at quarterback. And after you getting Jamar Chase opting out, Tyler Shelvin opting out, Kerry Vincent opting out, and they're going up against Mike Leach and his air raid offense of Mississippi State. Now he does come in with a new quarterback, KJ Costello, grad transfer from Stanford, and they do have a top returning running back, leading rusher in the SEC with Kylan Hill, over 1,300 yards of rushing. But it's going to be interesting how Mike Leach is going to be able to bring apart this offense to Mississippi State's playbook and their returning players and everyone that they have. The one thing that Mississippi State is plentiful on for this season is that they've returned 4 of their 5 offensive line starters, and the only one that's being replaced was a guard that ended up going to Green Bay, but they're replacing him with a grad transfer. So their offensive line is going to be very strong and very experienced, so that is going to be the strength of their team. Now the one thing that's supposed to make it that Mike Leach's offense is going to help out, besides the fact that Costello is going to be able to get the ball out of his hands quickly because of it being a very, very typical for air raid offense. A lot of times 3 wide receiver, 1 running back, 1 tight end, and it's going to be that same 11 personnel most of the time on their offense. All the plays are basically going to be done in shotgun. You're not going to see anything being under center. And trying to compare what Mike Leach has done plays-wise on offense compared to what Mississippi State did last year, Mike Leach averages about 85 plays run a game. Last year, Mississippi State was all the way down at 64. Yeah, so that was around. Mike Leach's average is about what LSU's average was last season. So really, it's going to be a complete change of pace that Mississippi State's going to have to change up drastically on it, and it does help. It does help the fact that one of the weaker part of their teams is the wide receiver core. Their top returning receiver is Osiris Mitchell, a former Louisiana transfer. So being able to get the ball out of Costello's hands, be able to get it to the young, inexperienced receivers for Mississippi State, make it to where they don't have to end up going through bump and run coverage. They can just go through their short routes and then potentially go with a bunch of screens, a bunch of slant routes, a bunch of curl routes, and then try to break off of that and break some tackles and go all the coverage. Now, to Mississippi State's detriment on this is the fact that the LSU secondary is still going to be the strength of the team. Stingley returns, Jacoby Stevens returns, Todd Harris comes back from an injury. Cordell Flott started nearly half of their LSU's games last year, so he's going to be manning the other corner. And then from a couple high recruits between Elias Ricks, Dwight McLaughlin, Jay Ward, Ray Darius Jones, that's going to end up trying to fill out some of the slot packages, and also having Mo Hampton, who was very instrumental in their defense last year. So the biggest key on this game is going to basically be from Mississippi State's offense to their defense is how's the wide receivers, are they going to be able to actually get off the line at all, be able to get Costello's to some of those easy throws, and make it to where he doesn't have to hold the ball too long. Because at this point, their offensive line should be strong. LSU's defense isn't going to be able to get too much pressure on it because it's going to be a lot of quick passes. And can those Mississippi State receivers just get open enough to where they'll make some impact, enough impact to make this a closer game than most people think it will. On the other side, with LSU's offense against Mississippi State's defense, it's going to be trying to get Brennan comfortable in the offense, get him comfortable early on, where LSU's going to try and just beat the ball down their throats with their 3 running backs, Curry, Price, and John Emery, all 3 returning. And how's Brennan going to be able to interact with some of their new, maybe less experienced receiving targets, maybe like the Eric Gilbert, the Keyshawn Boutte, 2 5-star freshmen coming in. And then outside Terrace Marshall, how impactful is going to be Racey McMath and amongst others, and any running backs going into the passing game getting catching targets. And also with the fact that LSU is replacing 4 offensive linemen. The only returning one is Austin Deculus, who is a 4-year starter. So at this point, I do think that with definitely a limited experience with a new offensive and defensive an offensive mind for Mississippi State and a new defensive coordinator for State with what is his name again? They got Zach Arnett out of San Diego State, who ended up giving up 12.5 points per game last season. So at that point, now that Joe Moorhead has been kicked out of the building, completely new scheme. If this was later on in the season, it would be more of a competitive game. But at this point, LSU is going to run through that defense. Outside of their returning tackler, Errol Thompson, who had over 85 tackles last year. So outside of that and a couple D linemen, a couple seniors on their line, they're very young and inexperienced for their defense. So, and LSU still has offensive targets to the plenty. So it is probably going to be close early on, but once we get later into the second half, LSU should be able to pull away on it. Brennan should be able to get about, I'd say, 250 yards passing, and all 3 running backs will probably get around, will probably combine to about 200 yards rushing. I'll say with this one, it's probably going to be about a 34-14 game in favor of LSU, beating the spread, being the spread that's a 17-point line. So it's going to take a little time for LSU to be able to keep up with the air raid on it and just be able to understand some of the pacing on it that Mississippi State's trying to pull. But with this limited training camp and all that being really condensed on it, it's going to make it to where some of the more established schemes are going to be able to be better established and have less issues of cohesion. But with that all being said, it's been some time. There's going to be a little kinks in this. I'm going to try to get this back to where at least I'll have the weekly game previews and probably reaction to it after, probably on Sunday, see how that everything goes. But with that all being said, thank y'all for watching. If y'all enjoy this, please like, please share it out to other people. I understand with this coming fairly last minute and I haven't really given much idea on when I was doing this. I don't expect this first one to get too much views, but if y'all enjoy, share it out. More will be coming in the future. With all this pandemic, it's made it very difficult to actually get anything out, and everything's been kind of chaotic around. But yeah, thank y'all for watching. Please like, subscribe, and let more people know about it. But This is Stat 7 Sports. I'm the contained Kunas, and I'll see y'all next time.